Today, I'm gonna break down the $1,800 detail that we did on a Yukon that had paint correction, ceramic coating, and interior cleaning. And then I'm gonna explain to you how we're getting into window tinting services. And a quick shout out to our sponsor, Jobber. Now that we are offering vinyl wraps, window tinting, PPF, and detailing services, we need to make sure that we're keeping track of all the movement that's going on, especially going into the spring rush where like the work doubles or triples. So that's why I've been using Jobber in our business for the last 5 years now. When it comes to booking out the schedule, keeping track of customers' information, whether it's sending automated appointment reminders, employees clocking in or out, we run our entire business through Jobber. If you want to get a free 14-day trial plus a special discount, click the link down below to give it a try. So this GMC Yukon came in for a correction, coating, and interior cleaning. Now, with this vehicle specifically, we actually didn't see it in person. Typically for correction and coatings, we'd like to see the car in person and to first do a test spot. That way we can see the kind of results that we can get for the customer. But with this vehicle specifically, the customer was actually coming in from out of town. So I think he frequents Houston. So the schedule wasn't really there and his availability just wasn't really there to like just come one day and then go back and then schedule. Like he was ready to book. So we quoted $1,600 to $1,800 for the exterior and then $280 for the interior. Now we do always say, hey, you know, once we see the vehicle in person, the price might be a little higher or lower. It just depends on the condition. That way, if it is dirtier, we can price higher. And if it's actually not that bad, which there are times where the car is not that bad and it doesn't require that level of work, then we can decrease the cost. They paid the deposit, they booked it in, they dropped it off. So once we actually, and they dropped it off, I believe, if we started working on it on Tuesday, they dropped it off Monday at 8 o'clock at night. So the car was already here, ready for us to go, right? So, and that's the level of trust that you build with your customers without even having to like to talk to them. And the reason why I say that is because he probably read all of our content on our website. He saw some videos. He read all our reviews. So by the time he gets to us and he inquires about our services, like, there's not much that like, we don't have to convince him on anything. We don't have to persuade him if we're the good fit. Like he's done all his homework. He's done his due diligence. And I was like, okay, I'm going to call them. I'm going to book it in. When is it? When can I do it? Like then it's just figuring out the logistics of like, when can I do it? Right. So he dropped it off 8 o'clock the day before. We started working on it. And once we got the vehicle and we inspected it, we were like, yeah, this vehicle is actually in great condition. Like there wasn't any heavy cutting that we had to do. There was maybe a few isolated sores and scratches here and there, but it wasn't, you wouldn't look at that vehicle and be like, man, that paint is in bad condition. Like it really wasn't. So we ended up charging $1,600 for the correction and coating. And then for the interior, it was also in great condition, albeit a few spots here and there, but overall, like it wasn't dirty at all. So I think we dropped the price down to $220, if I'm not mistaken. So overall, we did decrease the price quite a bit we went on the lower end of the pricing just because it wasn't in bad condition. And I always say like fair is fair, right? So if we get a vehicle that's in really bad condition, like an interior that's like a disaster detail, like on that F-150 that we just got not too long ago, that was $900, right, for the interior. And it's like, well, we're going to put a lot of work into that. We're going to remove seats. We're going to, extract the carpet multiple times. We're going to scrub the plastic and rubber multiple times because like it's really that bad. So, when the vehicle is in that condition that it needs the extra work, well, we're going to charge accordingly. But then also on the flip side, when there's a vehicle that, like this, it's a massive SUV, like that thing is big, but it's in great condition. So like we don't need to go overboard on anything, right? Like we can basically do a one step to just make sure that the paint is flat and refined, maybe, cut in the areas that need to be cut. But like overall, this vehicle is in great condition. It's just massive. So like, no matter what you do to it, it's a massive vehicle, right? Whether you're getting your tires changed, oil changed, whether you're, getting the front windshield repaired, like everything is simply going to take longer and cost more just because of the size of the thing. So that's why we charged $1,600 for the exterior. And then we did $220 for the interior. Now, when we wrapped up the vehicle, the customer was very happy with the results. He had no qualms about it. He had no remarks to it. He was very happy. And he literally paid the remaining balance of, I think it was like $1,400, $1,600, whatever the total amount was. And he literally drove off and like, we were done. He's like, I think he was back on his way to whatever state he came from. So like, I was kind of like flabbergasted that he did that, because it's just weird, like to come to like a not your home city and like get work done and then go back to your home. You know what I'm saying? Like I was thinking like maybe he comes here that often, like he's very comfortable with Houston. But I was like, man, like you dropped off your vehicle when you're here on work, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of crazy. But then the next thing that I can talk to is on that Saturday, I think it was, Lex finished up the SUV by himself because Angel was not here, because we sent him out here in Houston to go get trained for window tinting. Now this is something that Lex and I have been talking about for many years. And just recently, obviously, the training was February 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. I think it was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And we're finally going in the direction of offering window tinting services. Now, there's an important lesson to this, and I want to keep it kind of brief to not make this video too long, is that so in terms of adding film services, we went with vinyl wrap, PPF, and then window tint. If I could do it all over, I would go window tint, PPF, vinyl. Reason being is because over the last like 3-4 years, Lex and I have been getting asked all the time, do you guys offer window tint? And of course we kept on saying no, because we don't. And when we started doing vinyl wrapping, it's because I wanted my front valance wrapped in black, and then Angel liked it, and then like that snowball started happening. We're like, oh, I like this. Like, oh, you want to keep on practicing? Oh, should we do this as a business? Oh, should we offer this as a service? Oh, should we, and then we went down that rabbit hole. The thing with that though is that no one has ever asked us in the last 3-4 years if we offer vinyl wrap services. Like no one has ever asked us that. But plenty of people have asked us for window tint. So if I would, and it's funny because we did the same thing with smoke odor removal. A frequent amount of customers would ask us, do you do smoke odor? And we just kept on saying, no, we don't do that. They would ask us, hey, can you refer us to anyone? We're like, oh, honestly, we don't have anyone that we know that can, like, that does a proper smoke odor removal. And I'm not talking about like just throwing a smoke bomb in there and calling, like, no, like a proper smoke odor removal. And eventually Lex and I were like, yeah, maybe we should look into this. So we looked into it, we took the class, we bought the proper tools and equipment, and we started offering it. And that was a great service to add because I don't think there's many detailers that offer smoke odor removal. And again, like we were charging $500, $700, $900, $500, $1,400, $1,100, $500 for smoke odor removal. So that made perfect sense, right? We listened to our customers. We said, hey, maybe we should look into this. We looked into it. We got trained. We did everything properly, and we started offering the service. And it's been very, very profitable. And it's a great service to do. This vehicle behind me is a smoke odor for $600. Now, why did we not have that same mentality with film, right? People have been asking us for window tint, but we went with vinyl. Now, I could tell you why, actually, because before then, we never talked about film. Angel, actually, before he started detailing, like he's always been into vinyl wrapping. So when I offered him the chance to wrap my front valance, he was very excited because he's been more into vinyl wrapping than detailing before he even got here. So it kind of triggered that, like, oh, this is what I want to do. Now, fast forward a year, we go and sign up with Optical for PPF. We send them to go get training in Chicago. And again, we've gotten requests for PPF as well, but the learning curve is much higher with PPF than vinyl and tint, I believe. Like, it's a lot more work. It's a lot more money, but it's a lot more work. So I think if I could flip it on its head, I would go window tint first, and not because of the difficulty level, don't get me wrong, because there's shops that just do vinyl wraps. There's shops that do vinyl wrap and PPF. There's shops that do vinyl wrap, PPF, and tint. But the more specific reason is because customers have been requesting us for window tinting services, right? We had a customer here that got a quote for vinyl wrap to wrap his whole vehicle, and then he said, hey, well, I'll contact, and this was in person. He's like, I'll contact you guys later because I want to get my windows tinted first, and then I'll get the vinyl wrap. And again, like, had we offered window tint at that time, we would have got him and locked him in as window tint, and we would have also got him for vinyl, right? And there's plenty of other times where customers want a paint correction or interior cleaning or whatever, and hey, by the way, do you guys also do tint, right? And again, like, if we would just put 2 and 2 together, it's like, yeah, if people are asking for that specific service, why don't you go and offer that specific service, right? But obviously, everything is always 20/20 in hindsight. Since Angel went to go get trained on February 1st. It is now February 15th. He was back February 3rd, 4th, 5th. 5th was Monday. So I think since Monday on the 5th, so in 10 days, I think we've done a Volkswagen Beetle, which surprisingly enough is one of the most difficult cars to window tint. We've done a Beetle, we've done a Sentra, we've done Lexus front windshield, we've done an STI, we've done a Nissan Frontier. We're gonna redo the HHR. So things like whenever you're gonna do anything in life, right? Not just detailing, any new skill or hobby that you want to do, you have to be frequent before you get good, right? You cannot offer a service by only doing one car every other week. Like, you need to get in and just start doing as many reps as you possibly can, because the more reps you get, the more experience you get, the more skills you get, the more confident you get, then you can actually finally start offering those services. So we're just trying to, churn out as many vehicles as we can. And these are just like friends, family, or like, personal vehicles. They're not customer vehicles. Like, we're trying to get through these reps first. We don't have a plotter at this time, so we're hand cutting everything. But one of the instructors said, like, hey, like, if you use a plotter to install tint, you're just an installer. But if you actually want to be a tint installer, then you need to learn how to cut your own patterns out, because that's just a good skill to have. So, and I say that because if you want to offer window tinting, you don't need a plotter, right? The plotter that we would look at is, I think, $7,000 is what Juan said, because you can get that for PPF, and you can also use it for window tinting. There's smaller plotters that are like $3,000 to $5,000, but then you couldn't use that for PPF because it's not long enough to cut out panels for vehicles. That being said, we're not using a plotter. We're hand cutting everything out. We still need to get a peel board. Right now, the peel board that we're using is the window in unit 104. The office window, that's our peel board right now, until we find one. Other than that, well, and we want that propane heater thing. That's a tool that we want. Aside from that, we have all the tools. The company that we went with was here local that did the training is Hi-Tech. It's local to us, meaning like it's here in Houston, but I do believe they're like nationwide. We weren't gonna go XPEL because obviously, I'm against the whole XPEL thing. So Hi-Tech is the option that we went. And now we're going to offer window tinting probably in March, because that's what I have on the website. We'll start offering in March, but I already have the window tinting page live on the website, and I already have window tinting, the window tint option on the web form, so people can start filling it out, and we can start like kind of building up that pipeline. So that way when we offer the services in March, we can start having conversations and start booking in vehicles. That's going to wrap up this video right here. It was a little all over the place because it was just a lot of montage, a lot of B-roll, a lot of time-lapsing. But hopefully you found this video helpful in some way. Let me know if you have any comments or questions about the correction and coating or about window tinting. Not that we know much, but anything that I can help you with, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll talk to you on the next one.